Well, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be trying out a new RTS game called Regiments. For those of you who have followed other YouTube channels or follow Steam pages, this game has been going on for a while, and I believe other YouTube channels had tried it out around a month ago. So I just got my hands on this playtest yesterday, so I can't wait to give it a try. So first of all, at the menu we got operations, skirmish, tutorials, settings, Regipedia, and quit. Quit is pretty obvious. You quit the game back to desktop. Then Regipedia. So basically it's an encyclopedia about regiments. Use the table of content on the left to navigate between the articles or examine unit parameters in greater detail. Okay, so it looks like they did not, so unlike Wargame, they did not segregate into categories, so we get basically just like a general index or content of table of contents for the units belong to the Warsaw Pact. So you got the Su-25, basically the Soviet version of the A-10 close air support attack aircraft. Oh, actually, by holding left click, you can do a 360 navigate like a 360 point of view on the unit. Okay, and Su-22, Grot. This thing was in Wargame as well. Don't know how to pronounce that. I guess it's Grovstica or Grovstica. And the Acacia. I never use those. Well, in Wargame I usually use Mista for the Soviets and the Dana for the Czech. Sunny, motor carrier. Congress, basically, the Congress actually refers to the missile mounted on top of this vehicle. This is a BDRM or BRDM. BM-21 Grads. I mean, pretty. It's like the the most well-known rocket, multiple rocket system. BMP-1. Probably the very basic one. BMP-1P with the anti-tank missile mounted on top of the turret. BMP-2, instead of the 76 gun, it has the, I think it's a 30mm autocannon. Yep, 30mm autocannon, and the Congress ATGM on top. Fun fact though, although the BMP-2 equipped the same caliber as the Bradleys. The Bradley actually, the Bushmaster on the Bradley actually do more damage than the BMPs, because they utilize the fin stabilized armor piercing Sable round. So I heard. Don't quote me on that. BRDM2. This is a wheeled recon vehicle. BRM-1K. Think this is like like a derivative of the BMP-1. PT-76, light tank, amphibious capable, but I'm not sure whether the amphibious capability has been enabled in this game. BTR-152, Russian personnel carrier, like early stage before they have the tracked vehicle like the BMP-1s. To me, it kind of looks like the M3 half track, and the German World War II half track had a baby. BTR-70, armored personnel carrier, well, more than it's little more than a taxi for its infantry squad. It is highly vulnerable in open terrain. MI8, that's the hip. Mi-24, the Hind, yeah, for the most famous helicopter of the Soviet bloc. Look at that intimidating rocket pads. And fun fact, although I think it was designated an attack helicopter, the Hind is actually capable of carrying a bunch of troops down in the belly. So as you can see, you got windows here, and the door is, I think it's a sliding door. Yeah. Strela 10. So this is track vehicle with the service to air. I think it's an infrared missile, the Strela. Strela is an anti-air heat-seeking missile, so IR missiles. T-55A, T-55AM with extra armor belts here. T-72, most proliferated tank of the Soviet bloc. T-72M1, don't see the difference here. Okay, I think these are like the reactive armor. I'm not sure. Well, actually, it prevents from, you know, getting enemy getting side shots on the T-72. The stats though just slightly different. So you got like 5% more accuracy and 3% more stabilized. Rate of fire is about the same. CSU 23. The Shoka, quad 23mm self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. I think it was built upon the PT-76 chassis. And during the Soviet invasion of in Afghanistan, they had a variant where they removed the air-to-air search radar, because they would they intend to use the variant against ground targets. So the search radar would be redundant. So they remove it and just level out the barrels and just lay waste on the Mujahideens. Supply truck. This is just a simple Euro truck. So now we'll move on to the Soviet Union. So Soviet Union featured more advanced equipment. So instead of the Shuka, you got the Tunguska. So actually, hang on. I actually know the Tunguska feature four autocannons. Let's see. Let me scroll down to the stats. Let's see if I can find the autocannons. I think they are 30mm. Don't quote me on that. If not, might be 23mm. But still, they had I think they have a higher rate of fire than the Shuka. Then you got like a twin quad mount anti-air missiles. The search radar is at the front. The turret kind of looks like the German Flak Panzer Gepard. The chassis, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a BMD3 chassis. Then you got the Nona, which is like a lightweight mortar, like a light tank. Oh, actually, it's a BMD2 with a mortar turret. The BMD2, airborne infantry fighting vehicle for the VDV, the Russian airbornes. T-64 BV with the explosive reactive armor. So it will bounce off like shape charge warhead. Not sure how they fare against kinetic warheads like the APFSDS, TATU of course, ERA everywhere. I'm not sure this skirt, like, how do you call it, a skirt or a kilt? Whether it's just like to blocking mud or for fording across the river, or it's actually extra armor. I don't think this is a dozer blade, so don't tell me this is a dozer blade. So now we'll move on to the United States. A10, of course, baby. A10. So I guess happy birthday to... Jesus Christ, what happened did they do with the shark mouth? I mean, yeah, they need to rework on that, because it lost the deterrence or the intimidation. It looks, the eyes kind of like goofy as fuck. So 30mm gun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weapon stations, capable of carrying anything but from targeting pod to Mavericks to twin Sidewinder rack, external fuel tanks, Mark 82, Mark 83, or so on and so forth, other bombs, snake eyes, cluster bombs, blah blah blah. And AH-1 Cobra, just a standard Cobra. This looks like a 30mm autocannon in what's it called? A 3-barrel machine autocannon, and Hydra rockets. Then this looks like a tow missile rack. So they're still running the single engine Cobras, not like the modern Cobras where they have twin engine. Well, I think it's called Viper, is it? H64 Apache, 30mm autocannon, rocket pods, and Hellfire. So this is the A version, not so. I mean, of course, I think this game featured in the story or the background of this game set during the 1980s. So later version like the Apache H64D longbow, or even the E version, the Guardian, does not exist back then. Then you got the OH-58D Kiowa. This is a recon helicopter. So unlike Wargame, I think they'll just feature just like the basic observe variant. Unlike in Wargame, it features the Kiowa Warrior with the rocket pods or the machine guns, or just nothing but Hellfires. Then you got a Humvee with the tow launcher, Humvee with the Mark 19, M551A1 Sheridan. This is like a light tank that is airborne capable, with the 152mm short barrel gun, capable of firing the Shillelagh ATGM over here, and capable of firing like heat or high explosive guns. Then you got the M60A3 Patton, 105mm gun, and you got the M1 IP. So this is the M1 Abrams. The IP should be stands for improved compared to the basic version of the Abrams. It still features the 105mm gun, but I think they added maybe improved armor. I think that's what the IP stands for. Then the M1A1 Abrams. Well, when the U.S. Army initially fielded the Abrams, they intend to mount a 120mm gun on it. However, the Rheinmetall haven't finished, doing their work or research on the 120 millimeter gun, so just like as a stopgap measure, they just mounted the 105 millimeter gun, and they have taken into consideration like possible upgrades, so they left like improvement space or room for improvement or upgrades later on. So when the 120 millimeter gun became available, they could just mount on it. I think the 120 gun on the Abrams is American license built from. They bought the license from Rheinmetall. M113 Battlefield Taxi. So they're meant to like carry the troops and drop them off and then head home. So they were never meant to fight alongside the infantry. Then you got the Bradley, the laughingstock. If you have seen the movie The Pentagon Wars, a recon tank can't like an infantry fighting vehicle that cannot carry the entire full infantry squad. Recon vehicle that's too big and carry way too many firepower to level like half a city block. That's like the famous line of the movie. Then the M2A2 Bradley. What's the difference? Okay. So the initial Bradley, they add firing ports so infantry can actually fire from the inside. Then they found out it's just like simply useless, so they just simply it became obsolete. So M2A2 Bradley, they added extra armor plating to the side. They also removed the firing ports. They also added extra armor to the turret. That should be it. M901 ITV. ITV should stand for Improved Tow Vehicle. Or Independent Tow Vehicle, something like that. Actually, it's a M13 with a, I think it's called Hammerhead tow launcher. So the launcher itself able to elevate himself, so you could be hiding behind a defilade, and raise the launcher, and so only the launcher would be exposed towards the enemy, or only the launcher would have a line of fire towards the enemy fire, and then retract the launcher and then put it in this kind of angle so the infantry could open the hatch and reload the launcher. M125. Oh, this is a mortar vehicle, 81mm mortar. M106 with the 107mm mortar. And the M109A3, the Paladin. Oh, sad news. I don't think the M109A6 Paladin is available. So, but I mean, it's back in the 80s, so the A3 would do. I mean, as long as they don't give me like the really stubby barrel like M108 or M109A1. Then you got the Chaparral, infrared missile. Oh, actually, it's an anti-aircraft vehicle carrying the anti-air missile called the Chaparral. M163 Falcon. For those who love to play the American deck in Wargame, this should not shock you as well. 20mm Falcon cannon, not stabilized. Have to be like, I think they have to hand crank it, or it's electric motor. The dish on the left hand side of the turret, that's the search radar. M557, that's the command vehicle. That's strange. I don't see any command vehicle on the Warsaw pack, so I wonder what it would do. Command oversees the operation of units in close vicinity, drastically improve their performance. So is this gonna be like in Wargame where you need a command vehicle to capture sectors, or like in Steel Division? So if you place like a Panzerführer or the battalion commander next to friendly tanks, it will boost their experience, plus improving their combat performance. I believe that's this the latter to be the case. And then we'll move on to West Germany. First of all, let me get a sip of water. We got the AlphaJet. AlphaJet, I think it's a joint development between German and France. I mean, you don't see them two working together often, but when they do, they create good, really good products. I think the AlphaJet was meant to be a trainer, but it's capable of carrying ordnance and can be converted into like a light attack aircraft. Lucius, it's a recon vehicle with the 20mm autocannon. I really like it in Wargame. Then you got the RAK JPC Jaguar 1. So I think it's called Raketen Jagdpanzer. So basically it's a rocket tank destroyer. So basically it's an ATGM vehicle with the HOT missile. One thing I'd like to mention, the vehicle details or the graphic details is amazing in this game. The Lars 2 I've built on a MAN chassis, or I think it's called 6x6 chassis. It's a multiple rocket launcher. Excuse me. So this is a high explosive rockets, not cluster munitions. Because guys, cluster munitions are banned by Geneva suggestion. Leopard 1A4, Leopard 1A5. So A4 features like a really box-ish turret, where the 1A5 features like the same Leopard A1 or A2 turret with extra armor on it. Leopard 2A1, my favorite. Actually, Leopard 2A4 or A5 is my favorite. Anyway, they're just the same family. Oh, they even changed the hull number on the tanks. I wish we could add like divisional insignia on the tank. So for the Leopard 2A4, it has the 120mm gun and T1 in brackets. I wonder what that means. Then you got the Fuchs or the Fox, armored personnel carrier, amphibious capable with the MG3 on top. M13G, I think it probably stands for Germany. So when the Bundeswehr first first founded, they receive a lot of American like military aid. So you can see they're actually wearing like the American M1 helmet. This should be a G3 rifle, early prototype or early version of the Panzer Fist, and of course they're carrying the MG42 as usual. I mean MG3 to be historically accurate. And instead of the 50 cal, they change. They have adopted. I'm not adopt, but they changed to MG3, so you can't see like hold it down is a machine gun meme. Modern 1A1, the early version of their model features a secondary turret in case they got backstabbed by enemy. So the secondary turret should have I think it's a MG3 as well, but later on they found it was useless, so they removed it. So 20mm autocannon, yeah, that's the Model 1A1. Model 1A2, they removed the turret and they added the Milan launcher on the, I think that's the commander's hatch. Hey, do you, ooh, Flak Panzer Gepard, twin 30mm autocannon, search radar, and another radar on the back, built on a Leopard 1 chassis. Then we got the Flak Panzer rocket, Roland. Roland is the anti-air missile system mounted on a Modder chassis. So capable of firing 2 rounds, then the infantrymen have to pop off the hatch and reload it. I don't think it's an auto-loading mechanism. M109G, this is what I'm talking about, the chode barrel. And you got the M106, the motor carrier, the M577 command vehicle, the PH1. It's a German indigenous manufactured helicopter after the war with 6 hot ATGM missile. Then of course the Weasel, the airborne reconnaissance or light attack vehicle. This has the 20mm autocannon. I wondered would that would the vehicle tip over when they fire the 20mm gun. Then you got the Weasel tow. Let's see, what other NATO countries do we have? Belgium, let's see. We got the Mirage 5, Leopard 1 BEB probably stands for Belgium. The AIFB C25. So this is like an M113, and they mounted a 25mm autocannon on top. M113 with Milan missile, and just a normal M113, and the Alouette, the French reconnaissance helicopter. So this is it. I think we have just previewed all the units available. Alright, before jumping into operations, let's check out the tutorials. So let's start with basic training.
New objective received.
Welcome to basic training. Here you will learn the key cameras and unit controls. First, let's learn to control the camera. Use WASD keys to move the camera horizontally. They can also move the camera by moving the mouse cursor to the screen edge. Let's see, okay. WASD. To rotate the camera, hold left control or middle mouse button and move the mouse. Change the height of the camera by using scroll wheel and stuff. A platoon has been deployed. You will use multiple platoons to achieve your objectives and missions, but for now, let's try controlling a single one. Also, notice the central panel. With a single platoon is selected, it will display information regarding the status and condition of the selected platoon. You can order the platoon to move by clicking on the desired position with the right mouse button. Advance the platoon to the designated area.
Roger, will do.
It is critical to master additional movement commands. To issue them, you can use keyboard hotkeys or buttons on command panel, which is highlighted now. Okay, proceed. You can use the fast move command. In this mode, platoon will try to avoid difficult terrain that will slow them down. You can use rotate command to rotate the platoon. Units will automatically try to face the most dangerous target. Rotate command allows fixing the unit's rotation, which can be useful in certain complex situations. Now rotate the platoon towards the target. You can use reverse command to move units backwards. It is useful to pull out of dangerous situations while keeping the stronger frontal armor pointed towards the enemy. Order a platoon to move reverse.
Got it. Pushing out.
A new platoon has arrived. You can select several units by pressing left mouse button and dragging the selection box over them. Alternatively, you can hold Shift and click on the platoon's icon. Platoon will be added to the current selection group. You can use the same combination on a selected platoon to remove it from the selected group. Advance the platoon. You can hold right mouse button and drag to define where the platoon should face after arriving at the designated air position. By dragging the line further, you can also define the spacing between the platoons. You can also hold Shift to issue several orders in sequence. Okay, right mouse button face here.
Will go. Out.
Right mouse button face here and space out a little bit.
Contact front. 1000.
Okay, it's an ambush. Your platoons are desperately undergunned to deal with the threat. Use retreat command or quick press Q twice to order your units to retreat. They will use smoke grenades for cover if available and reverse to starting zones as fast as possible.
We're getting a lot of fire here.
Oh shit, we lost one of the leopard ones. Reinforcements has arrived. They should be able to neutralize enemy forces if you attack with your entire force at once. Your platoons will automatically attack any enemy target in range. You can also issue an attack order by right mouse button clicking on the enemy unit. Your units will prioritize set target and automatically approach close enough to use their weapons. You can also use attack command on a suspected position. Your units will advance there, automatically stopping to engage the enemy. Excellent, you have defeated an enemy ambush. This rounds up the basic training. Okay, that was fast. So now we're gonna try out the advanced training.
New objective received.
Welcome to the advanced training. Here we will examine the mechanics of key unit types in a series of combat exercise. Let's start with the armor type. This type represents platoons composed of tanks. They are one of the deadly vehicles on the 1989 era battlefield. The key distinctive feature of main battle tanks, or MBTs for short, is their strong frontal armor. It is the only type of units that can shrug off hits from heavy weapons. They also have great medium range firepower and can effectively use their weapons on the move. It is important to note that older tanks and tanks that expose their vulnerable side armor are still vulnerable to armor-piercing rounds. Let's demonstrate this. Advance to the designated area, then there you will find outdated T-55s and relatively modern T-72M tanks that are caught out of position. Your Leopard platoon should make short work of them, despite being outnumbered.
We'll go. Out.
What are they shooting at?
We've got visuals.
Excellent, now to the next type. Mechanized platoons comprise the second half of your core force. This type represents armored personnel carriers with their attached infantry squads. Their main strength is their flexibility, cost efficiency, and the infantry they carry. On the other hand, they don't have strong armor and are vulnerable when caught out of cover. You can use the change mode command to change infantry stance of mechanized platoons. Infantry can move mounted inside the transport or dismounted. Mounted movement is quicker over the open ground, but infantry can't use their weapons from inside the transport. Dismounted movement is slower, but allows to use all the platoon firepower, with the dismounted infantry providing more situation awareness. Infantry transport can better utilize cover and entrenchments and become harder to hit. Now search and destroy an enemy armored platoon in the designated area. Advance through the forest in dismounted mode. Otherwise, your lightly armed ABC platoon will be an easy target. Stay close to the enemy so the infantrymen can use their light anti-tank weapons or laws for short. These can make short work of most tanks.
Affirmative. Over.
Okay, dismount.
Reporting hostile fire. Over. We'll go. Out.
We got men down. Okay, now proceed to the next type. Reconnaissance platoon excel at finding the enemy and observe their movement. They have higher speed and improved sighting equipment compared to the regular units. They are much more adept at using cover to remain unseen too. Most reconnaissance vehicles are lightly armored and armed and are not fit for direct combat. It can be useful to restrict recon platoons to return fire by changing fire mode, so they won't give away their precision. Switch off weapons on the recon platoon and advance to designated area. Okay. Hold fire and move to here.
Roger, out.
Artillery provides long-range fire support. It outranges other weapon systems and can shoot over obstacles, but takes time to aim their guns. Due to low accuracy and lack of armor-piercing abilities, it's most useful for suppressing targets rather than outright destroying them. Suppressed targets have reduced accuracy and rate of fire. Artillery requires manual artillery attack order to engage targets. Use recon platoon to find the enemy around the designated area and order artillery to suppress the target from afar. Okay, let's see the M109s at work. A strong combined arms force is assembled for an attack against an entrenched enemy. An M557 command platoon is attached to the force. It is vulnerable and unarmed, but it provides better coordination for all units in its command radius, improving their accuracy, defense, and suppression resistance. So this is how we use the command units, unlike in Wargame Red Dragons. So it's more like a Steel Division 1 and 2. You'll be attacking a sizable enemy force in entrenched positions. Expect casualties. If your platoon is heavily attrited, use retreat to pull it out of combat. It will be repaired, refit, and resupplied in the retreat zone. So that's how you're supposed to play, okay? Because I was playing like as if it's in Wargame Red Dragon, where when the tank was damaged, just fall back a little bit, let the supply truck repair it, and they can just be back in combat in no time. Coordinating a lot of units can be difficult. Use space to pause and issue orders. You can also use Control plus 1, 2 to 9 to assign currently selected platoons to a control group. Pressing the control numbers button again will select that group immediately. It is especially handy for artillery groups that often happen to be far away from the direct combat. Clear and occupy the designated area. Be prepared to repulse any counterattack. Okay. Our first trial by fire. Oh wow, we have 2 M109s platoon. Mother 1A2. Excuse me. Lucius and Lucius. So Lucius can hold fire.
Will go.
And now I have the 2A4s move up to this tree line here. And the M109s can follow right behind.
Roger. Will do.
Okay, let's see if we can spot any targets.
Roger. Out. Multiple thermals. Please advise.
Okay, let's fall back a little bit. Looks like they're BMP 1 or 2s. Then over here we got no eyes. Let's see. BMP 2s, BMP 2s, and we got some tanks. Okay, let's have the artillery open up on the
Will go.
BMP.
Out.
Okay, let's move up the artillery.
Will go. Heavy direct fire.
Okay, I'll have the artillery suppress the units on the right. Oh shit, we lost them.
Rolling up.
Yeah, we lost another. Okay, let's fall back. Two.
Roger. Out. We've got visual. Affirmative. Over.
Okay, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. work. The position is occupied and all attacks have been repulsed. This concludes the training exercise. Refer to the Regipedia to learn more about more specialized unit types. Okay, let's check about mission fundamentals.
New objective received.
Welcome to this session tutorial. Here you will learn the fundamentals of strategic controls. In the previous tutorials, platoons were handed to you by higher command. In the actual missions, it will be up to you to decide which platoons to deploy and when. The main currency is the deployment point, which is used to order platoons. You can see the key values in the highlighted portion of the panel. Those numbers are your current DPs and the loss compensation pool DPs. Regimental panel is currently highlighted. It shows all the platoons you have available along with their price in DPs. Click on the platoon icon with the left mouse button to select it and then click on the map to order the platoon. Unit will appear at the closest starting zone and will advance to the designated point. Now deploy a model platoon and advance to the designated point. While the deployed platoon is alive, you can't order another instance of it. Let's observe what happens if your platoon is destroyed. Your platoon will become available for deployment once after a delay. The points you invested in the platoon will move to the loss compensation DP pool. They will stay there for some time, and then will slowly be returned into the main usable DP pool. Despite that, the losses aren't without consequences. You lose all the experience the unit has accumulated, and veteran units are noticeably better than the green recruits. You also lose time and opportunities while the DP points are locked in the loss compensation pool. Now let's move to the task forces. The regimental panel shows all available platoons. By default, it contains only the main body, which represents the bulk of your regimental composition. For the purpose of the tutorial, it has just 4 platoons total, but actual main bodies consist of 8 to 12 platoons. During the game, attached task forces become available as the fighting escalates. Task forces provide access to more platoons and additional tactical support options. They often contain specialized and veteran units. You have 1 task force available now. On this screen, you can see a list of available task forces with the platoons and tactical aid options listed for each. For the purpose of the tutorial, you have only 3 task forces to choose from. Select one now and confirm your choice by clicking on the Call In button. You're gonna call in the mechanized task force. A Tactical 8 option has become available to you. Tactical 8 represents various off-map, higher echelon assets, aviation, artillery, battalions, intelligence collecting systems, command and control resources of parent formations. They can deliver powerful strikes against the enemy or grant temporary bonus to your units. Tactical 8 uses a different resource than platoon's Tag 8 points. TVs are slowly accumulated over time and are also granted for destroying enemy units. In addition to the TP cost, Tag 8s have a cooldown period. To call in a Tag 8, click on the Tag 8 icon in the panel, then click on the map to define the target area. Now, use an reconnaissance Tag 8 at the designated point to lift the fog of war and check if any enemy forces are located there. Okay, gonna place a recon 8 here. Use Tactical 8 to check what
New objective received.
The enemy is massing for an attack against allied positions in this sector. Your task is to reinforce them and prevent the enemy force from achieving a breakthrough. Check the new mission objective in the objectives panel, highlighted now. Always refer to the objectives panel to know what are your goals. The second important thing is the timer. In tutorials, there is no time limit, but keep in mind that actual missions are almost universally time limited, and at least one side is always tasked to achieve its objectives before the time runs out. Keep an eye out for the victory points indicator. The side that holds the designated points will receive victory points over time. It is important you have more victory points than your enemy. Now you are to deploy your platoons and help your allies hold the designated positions. Use reconnaissance platoons and Tag 8 to spot the enemy attack early. Try to retake lost positions. Units can automatically improve their positions when left idle for 10 seconds. Mechanized infantry can further entrench themselves after 40 seconds in the same position. Use this to reduce your casualties or stay mobile and try to achieve flanking shots against the attackers. Okay, so we have to defend here. Enemies are attacking from this area, this side. Gonna call in leopard 2A4, leopard 2A1, Marder A2, and I'm out of deployment points. Okay, we got bigger problem. We got attacked from the other side. I'm gonna need artillery. Enemy air activity detected. Core HQ has authorized the deployment of anti-air systems. Okay. Roland is a surface-to-air missile system. It provides long-range defense against enemy jets, but is less effective against low-flying helicopters. Keep it well behind the front line, as the SAM systems are extremely vulnerable. Gepard is an anti-air artillery unit. Its rapid-fire cannons are very effective against helicopters, but do not have the range of the missile systems. Hold shift while only a single platoon is selected to visualize the ranges. Okay, Gepard. Oh, okay. That's cool, you can see the range. Okay, what about the leopard? Wow, that's nice. You got to see the range of the unit. Wow, those or the SU-25 got shot off the sky.
Solid copy.
We got A already, let's play a platoon. Excellent. You held the positions long enough. Command considers that a success. This concludes the session training. Okay, so I guess that concludes all the training, and I guess I am ready enough, or I'm ready for the operations.